How's everybody doing today? Today is an exciting day. We start our new series, MRE for Newbies, Halal Edition, where we go through every single menu of a current 2026-2028 inspection halal case. There's 12 menus in a case. There's only one case issued, so there's no A and B like the regular MREs. And full disclosure, I want to give a special thanks to Camel City Supply Company. They're sponsoring these videos, all 12 of them, because they donated this case of current MRE halals for these videos. So I'm going to introduce a link in the description, and there's going to be a promotion code for 10% off. Use it. This is a great price to get these at already, and with the addition, with the 10% off for the viewers of this channel. All right, so before we open this case up, I just want to go over a couple things about the halal menus. Halal means permissible. The Arabic word halal literally means permissible or lawful. When it comes to food, it refers to food preparation according to Islamic dietary law. It's not just simply a different menu that doesn't contain pork. To be a halal certified meal, there cannot be any pork or pork byproducts. It's strictly prohibited. No alcohol can be used in the ingredients or flavorings, and animals must come from approved species. Meat must be slaughtered according to Islamic requirements while invoking the name of God, Allah. One of the biggest differences is that manufacturers must prevent halal food from coming in contact with non-halal products, which basically means separate ingredients, clean equipment, controlled production procedures, independent halal certification, and inspection. Every component is considered, unlike a standard US MRE where components simply need to meet military specifications. The religious meal requires the entree and the complementary food items be halal certified or otherwise acceptable for the diet. These meals exist so Muslim service members can maintain their religious dietary practices while deployed or training. They're officially called Meals Religious Ready to Eat, MRR Halal. Even though the menus are different, the military still designs them to provide roughly the same level of nutrition needed for demanding field conditions. Each meal is intended to provide about 1,200 calories and includes an entree, sides, beverages, accessory packet, and flameless ration heater. One interesting fact about the halal menus: there will never be coffee in any of the menus, and they have a 2-year inspection date. So that's why you see this was produced on the 7th day of 2026, and it has an inspection date of July 2028. So let's get into this case and see what we got for the menu. All right, so I already took the liberty of opening this case up, so it's not going to be hard to tear open. And of course, I ripped it upside down. So I had to pry out the cardboard flap, just like in the regular MRE cases. And a little tip here: if you're planning to only remove 1 or 2 menus out of a case, don't cut the bands. They easily can be walked off. See, I saved both of the bands, and our case is open. Now, originally when I opened this case, I wasn't aware that they did number the bags, because I couldn't find an official menu listing and number listing for each menu. And if you're wondering why there's no TTI sticker on this, possibly removed, I was also surprised. When I opened up the case, the TTI sticker was on the inside. Now, I don't know if this is a standard practice or if it was just an error, but since I opened this case upside down, this would have been on the bottom of the case, and then the cardboard liner would have blocked it. So you probably wouldn't have noticed it until you threw away the liner and was finished with the case. Maybe it's a new way they're packing them. I'm not sure, but I already took the liberty of organizing the meals and numbering them because they do have a very faint, see, this one is handwritten, but then this one actually has the date code that corresponds to the box, and then it says menu 3. I didn't see this, so I just numbered them the way I thought I was going to eat them, but then I cleaned it up and numbered them properly and then repacked them. So let's slide this over to the side, get rid of these bands, and let's lay out our menus. So menu number 1 is vegetable barley stew with lamb. Number 2 is going to be beef goulash. Number 3 is going to be jalfrezi with lamb. Number 4 is going to be chicken stew. Number 5 is going to be saji choli with lamb. Please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing these. I've never had these before. Number 6 is going to be lentils in marsala sauce. Number 7 is going to be saji choli, which is basically spinach and chickpeas. This is a vegetarian menu. I already labeled it with a V. There's supposed to be 4 vegetarian menus per case. This one only came with 3. And on the old menu listing, I noticed ratatouille was a option for vegetarian, but this case did not come with it. So I'm not sure if it was just a mispack or a substitution, but there's no doubles in here. Number 8 is chicken with vegetables. Number 9 is lentil stew with lamb. Number 10 is going to be beef stew. Number 11 is going to be cherry rolled oats with almond flavor, another vegetarian menu option. And our last menu, number 12, vegetable barley stew with lamb. That's our entire case. It's empty. Let's throw that to the side. All right, so those are all our menus we have laid out. We have 3 vegetarian options, which are going to be lentils in marsala, the saji choli, and the cherry rolled oats with almond flavor. I'm going to get this plated up, and we'll be right back. Stand by. All right, we're back. And again, I want to say thank you for Camel City Supply Company for sponsoring this video series. We're going to go through every single menu 1 through 12, every week until it's done. And these were provided by them for this series. They essentially sponsored this series. For the promotion code, it's going to be MRE EXP10 for 10% off, and that code will go active once the first video appears. So if you're watching this, the code is active. Swing by their site, tell them Gene sent you from the MRE experience, and get 10% off if you want to have some of these amazing halal MREs. Now, let's get into it. Also, they're on eBay. Check them out. Great deals. Let's get into this guy. Now, they have a peelable seal. Not a peelable seal. They have actually like a tear notch cut into these bags. But from my experience, these are a real bear to open up. So we're just going to cut them open on the side. Let's get out the card here. Let's just take the whole thing out. All right, so that's the bag. It's a new style bag. This is a Sopaco. Here is our first menu. This is going to be vegetable barley stew with lamb. 380 calories, 1 pouch is 8 ounces. And we got 35 grams of carbs, 17 grams of protein, and like I said, 360 calories. Ingredients: water, lamb, barley, tomato paste, soybean oil, carrots, potatoes, some food starches, less than 2% of black peppers, bell peppers, excuse me, black pepper, garlic powder, onion, salt, sugar, may contain wheat. Alright, so that's our first item. What do we have here? This is a halal butterscotch pudding. We have an accessory packet. We'll get into that shortly. We have a flameless ration heater. We have cranberries, 200 calories. This is a 2-ounce container. Let's see what we got here. 50 grams of carbs, 3 grams of dietary fiber, 0 grams of protein. I'm going to be putting up all the macronutrients on these items at the end of the video. Plus, I'm going to do close-up pictures of every single component. So if you want to check them out, they're up. Then we have an orange flavored no fruit juice. 130 calories, 0 grams of protein, 33 grams of carbs. We have patriotic sugar cookies, 240 calories. This is a 2-ounce container or 56 grams. We have 38 grams of carbs, 1 gram of dietary fiber, 3 grams of protein. Here's our nutrition card for our butterscotch pudding. 210 calories, 1 pouch is 4.5 ounces or 128 grams. 32 grams of carbs, 2 grams of protein. And then we have a whole wheat fig, 2.4 ounces, 220 calories, 39 grams of carbs, 4 grams of protein. All right, and our accessory packet. One thing to note, in these halal cases, there is no coffee or tea included in them. All right, so we have a salt, something we don't regularly see in MREs, pepper. Then we have a fresh nap, moist towelette. We have a book of matches, white tip. We have our MRE spoon. We have a pack of tissues or toilet paper made by Lighthouse, excuse me. And then we have another napkin. That's kind of weird that we have 2 napkins, but that's fine. All right, we'll get rid of this. All right, so that's everything. We're going to plate this up, and we're going to see what it's all about. Stand by. All right, we got everything plated up. Our whole wheat fig, patriotic sugar cookies, cranberries, butterscotch pudding, vegetable barley stew with lamb. So let's get first started on the FRH, because that's going to take the longest. This is a flameless ration heater. They call it an FRH. This is how we heat up our meals in the field. There's usually 2 tear notches, one at the top, one midway down. This is to rip open after it heats up. You rip it open from the top, open the pouch up, slide your meal out, slide it in the bag, all right, make sure your heating pad is centered on your food. There's a fill line at the bottom of the bag. Try not to overfill it. Takes about 2 ounces of water. Kind of fold it over. Get your cardboard sleeve. Slide that in there. And then you just leave that alone. All right, our drink mix. Now usually these come in either an hourglass pouch where you could drink from the field, or they come in little pouches like this. Look at that thing take off. There's two types of drinks. There's the lower calorie, I believe they're 90 calories, or the 130 calories, which it's going to have maltodextrin in it. I kind of like the higher calorie drinks, but sometimes the maltodextrin has a hard time dissolving, so that's going to be the white stuff you see at the bottom of the glass. All right, give that a good mixing. All right, and we'll just leave that on the side. Now for our other items. Our whole wheat fig. That's looking pretty good. Got some nice smell to it. Sugar cookies, patriotic. These are always a treat. In the regular MREs, I think only one menu, case B, actually comes with these patriotic sugar cookies. Our cranberries. Now these cranberries are better than the average cranberries you get in MREs because there's literally only 3 ingredients: cranberries, sugar, sunflower oil. I've only had a few of these menus, and I'm telling you, I think they taste a whole lot better than the current MRE lineup. So I really suggest that if you got menu fatigue and you've been around regular MREs for a while, give these a try because they are a refreshing change. And that thing is taking off nicely. All right, we're gonna put our fig over here so we could put this butterscotch pudding right over here. All right, let's get that out on the tray. And look at that, that does look good. And that is tasty. All right, that's everything. We got some maltodextrin at the bottom here. Give that another mix. All right. I'm going to give this about 10 more minutes, get it properly warmed up, and we'll be right back. Stand by. All right, we're back. It's been about 15 minutes. This is toasty warm. Let's see what we got here. Let's put this to the side, move this up a little. All right, like I said, give this a good kneading. It'll help mix all the, wow, that is still hot. Give that a good kneading around. We grab it by the second tear notch, rip it open. All right, and we pull out our meal. Now I'm just going to put it over here so it doesn't get any of that chemical water on the tray. Toss that in the garbage, and we'll put this right here on the side. We'll grab one of our napkins. It's a pretty decent napkin for an MRE napkin. Wipe the main off. All right, we'll save that. Now your MRE pouch, the way you eat it in the field is you would squeeze everything to the bottom. There's tear notches here and here, and you just kind of grab it and give it a pull. Exposes your pouch, and you would just eat it like this, right in the field, just like this. But, wow, that smells amazing. Caught a whiff of that. let's get this out on a tray. I know in the field you wouldn't have a tray or a mess kit, but for the viewers, so we can present it properly, this is how we're doing it. You do it how the way you want to do it. All right. And that is looking fantastic. I'm telling you, the smell that's coming off this is so savory and inviting. I'm already salivating here. All right. Let's bust open our teepee or tissues. You get 20 sheets. I usually like unrolling them, giving them a little slap, and they end up fluffing up nicely. All right, let's get the orange, no fruit juice drink off our spoon. All right, let's clean our hands before we eat. See what the wet nap is all about. All right, it's a decent wet napkin, nice and moist. Pleasant smell to it. It's not too chemically or oversaturated with alcohol. All right, since we have pepper, I'm going to include some. And I think they only give you about a gram or two, so it's not much, but it's enough to put on the meal. All right, yeah, and that's it. It's already empty. There wasn't much in there. And because this meal already is kind of on the low sodium side, I believe this whole entire meal is around 980 to a little over 1,000 milligrams of salt. Your typical MRE is going to have anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams of salt. So we're going to put about half of that packet in there. And let's see what we got going on here. We've got some nice barley in here. I see some vegetables, little green pepper, carrots, nice chunks of meat. Let's see what the meat looks like. Oh, that is pleasant. You can definitely tell it's a high quality cut of meat because you can actually see the fibers. Very tasty. Wow, that is really good. We got some corn. This is really, really tasty. Let's dive into this. I'm already hungry. Wow. Got a nice chunk of potato right there. I'm telling you, this is a nice change from the US MREs. That is so flavorful. I did not expect that. All right, sugar cookies, patriotic. I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with patriotic sugar cookies. It's a butter cookie, very delicate, very airy, amazing texture and taste. These are like a super bonus. You could probably trade these in the field for almost anything. Look at these cranberries. These things are ridiculous how they look. Large, large chunks of cranberries. They're not overly saturated with sunflower oil. Definitely a quality cranberry. Natural flavor. They're not too sweet, just the right hint of tartness. That's really nice. I like those. Wow, this is fantastic. I don't eat lamb regularly, but you can't even taste that this is lamb. This almost tastes like a delicate, well-prepared beef stew in a vegetable kind of sauce. Wow, this is really tasty. Very creamy, very rich. You can tell that vegetable stock, that kind of like stew it's in. just the right consistency. It's not watery, it's not too thick. And that barley, perfect texture, great flavor. All right, let's try our orange drink. Good orange flavor. Slight chemical taste, but it's orange and it's artificial. Plus you got the maltodextrin in there, so, you know, it boosts the calories. These are a treat, these patriotic sugar cookies. Let's clean off the spoon so we can check out this butterscotch pudding. That's unique. Nice consistency. Almost looks like baby food. Got a very inviting butterscotch smell to it. Very rich. Very creamy. It's not overly sweet, but that butterscotch flavor is on point. It really is. That's an absolute fantastic dessert right here. Butterscotch pudding. Wow. All right, fig. Whole wheat fig. Now, we could have warmed this up by sliding it into our pouch right underneath the FRH, because the meal's on one side. The meal is sitting on top of the FRH in water. Once it gets going and activates, you could slide the fig Newton component while it's still in the package underneath the FRH on the outside of the bag. Don't try to stuff it in the inside. And they will actually catch the heat from this, moisten the bread, and make the filling warm on the inside. And I'm telling you, warm up your bread components. It makes them so much more flavorful. It really does wake up the flavor, and it makes the bread moist and softer. Let's try this. That's nice. Good taste from the whole wheat. The fig has an outstanding flavor. You get those little crunches from the seeds, I guess, in the fig. What an outstanding flavor this is. I don't really eat figs regularly, but this is a nice change. All right, now that we examined every single component, let's put a dent in this meal. I'm blown away by this vegetable barley stew with lamb. It is so complex in its flavor, yet nothing is overpowering. It's a very mild vegetable like stock gravy, but it's so flavorful. It almost overpowers the meat, and the meat, you know, people say lamb is greasy, it has a gamey taste to it. Not here. If I fed this to you, you probably even wouldn't know this is lamb. That's how delicate and flavorful this meat is. This is absolutely outstanding. The potatoes, nice texture. Wow, that's a huge chunk of lamb right there. Look at that right there. The corn, the carrots, the lentil, the onions, got good garlic flavor, black pepper, That's nice having black pepper. All right, let's see the ingredients in this butterscotch pudding. Water, sugar, cream, powder, sweet cream, non-dairy fat milk, sunflower, lecithin, modified food starch. We have natural and artificial flavors, butterscotch emulsion, vitamin blend, some sucrose, salt, and a bunch of additives, pretty much. This is a treat, I tell you. I really do. Well, we almost got some vegetable barley lamb stew juice in our butterscotch. All right, let's finish this off. We're pretty much done here. That is really nice. All right, let's break down this meal. This was menu number 1, vegetable barley stew with lamb. The nutritional information, this meal came in at 1,360 calories. We have 34 grams of fat, 226 grams of carbs, 26 grams of protein, and 1,620 milligrams of sodium. 13 grams of fiber. Total sugar on this meal was 118 grams. Added sugar was another 102 grams, and saturated fat was 16 grams. This menu breaks down to be about 66% carbs, 8% protein, and 22% fat. Overall impression, this is a fantastic high carb, moderate fat, lower protein menu. I rate it as energy level, 5 stars, excellent. Protein, it's a little below average for an MRE. I give it 2 stars. Fiber, 4 stars. 13 gram is very respectable for fiber content. Sodium, 4 stars. Moderate for a military ration, but still pretty good. Overall balance, I give this menu an 8 out of 10. Great for sustained energy, but it's kind of lacking in the protein. It could really do it about 10 to 15 grams more protein. But overall, this was an absolute fantastic menu to start off our series. I would like to say again, thank you to Camel City Supply for sponsoring this series, MRE for Newbies, Halal Edition. And don't forget to check them out on their webpage, CamelCitySupplyCompany.com, and check them out on eBay, Camel City. You'll be able to find them if you do a quick search. That's where I got this menu from. They're sponsoring the channel. They sent me the case of 2026 halal menus. I'm going to finish this up. This is kind of a lot of food. It's carb heavy, but I really enjoyed reviewing this first menu, and I can't wait to get to the next menu, which is going to be menu number 2, beef goulash. Be on the lookout for this menu next week. It's going to be a fantastic menu. I'm really curious to see how the beef goulash stands up to the typical MRE, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right, let me know what you thought about this. Go stop at Camel City. Use the code MREEXP10, MREEXP10 for 10% off any MRE case or products. Tell them Gene sent you from the MRE Experience. I hope everyone enjoyed this review, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. I'm going to put up all the macro information at the end of the video with some pictures. Again, thank you, everyone. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.